Welcome to today's episode of Insight with Oladejo Adeyemi. And of course, this is Oladejo Adeyemi. We commenced the series on withholding tax earlier this month, and we had mentioned and defined what withholding tax is. We had also spoken about the rates. Today, we want to focus on some of the pitfalls. What are the things that you should look out for and avoid doing when it comes to withholding tax as it relates to your business? Now, why is today's episode important for you as a business owner? Recall that it is obligatory for your partner to deduct. I'm referring to your partner as someone who is transacting business with you and the party who is paying you. So in a very lame language, I would say your customer, because it is your customer that would pay you. Now, it is obligatory for your customer to deduct from you when they are paying you, because it is the payer that has the obligation to deduct. Now, when you make certain business errors that may make your customer deduct more than it should, it would erode more of your margin than required. And that's why this subject matter is very important. If your customer is supposed to have deducted at 2%, right, but they deducted at 5% or 10%, then part of your margin, much more than the government expected, have been taken off. Yes, it is not lost as long as the party who has deducted from you remits, because that's another kettle of fish altogether. Deduction is one leg of the transaction. Remittance is the second leg. But on the assumption that the party who had deducted from you remits, the amount is going to be sitting down in your credit wallet with the government, so that you are not stifled of cash in the course of your operations. You don't want more of your margins, to be eroded just by compliant obligation that someone else is carrying out. So what are the common pitfalls that you need to avoid? The very first one is ensure that the applicable rate to the type of transaction you are conducting with your business partner is communicated. Now, there are instances where, for whatever reason, let's say business has been in tax holiday. We'll deal with that subject matter in the future. But there's a concept that allows companies not to pay income tax for a particular period. It has always been called Pioneer Status Incentive. Based on the new changes to the tax law, it has now been revamped as Priority Sector. But like I said, we'll deal with that concept later in the future. So if a company is enjoying that kind of status, for instance, withholding tax deduction will not apply on the income of such a company. It is the responsibility of that business to communicate that with applicable fact. So for you to ensure that there's no mismatch with respect to what should apply to you, you have to communicate what applies to you, what rate applies to the transaction you are having. It is your responsibility as a business owner to do that. The other thing is the nomenclature of your business, the nomenclature of your transaction. Sometimes business owners have just affixed, for whatever reasons, maybe because of processes or when they started, that was how the whole thing began, and all that. That transaction has been called X, when in fact it was Y. If that has been the case, then the wrong rate would apply. These are the major pitfalls that are very common with businesses within our environment with respect to the applicability of withholding tax. Remember, you will only get notification that new videos have been released only when you follow this channel on all of your social media platforms, such that you'll be updated from time to time and you continue to apply correct rules to your business transactions. Till I come your way again next time, bye for now.